Hi, this is Cynthia, and welcome back. This is continuation, finishing off the discussion that we were talking about with Canada and the argument of the easier for their employees to comply with diversity legislation versus the United States. Um, Lastly, what I was trying to put across was that 16% of the Canadian population is known as the protected groups. That is the reason why it's easier for employees to discriminate in Canada because their protected groups are those that are minorities, regardless of race, creed, religion, lack of religion. Um, they have a certain cultural norm that they cater to, and if you fall within that bracket, you may be obsolete to them. Lastly, what I wanted to talk about was there was two TV shows that I watch daily. I watch a lot of shows. I like Mike and Molly. I like Forensic Files. I like Dateline. But the one I really want to talk about is there's two black shows, and they're not one anymore. They just run a bunch of reruns. One of them is Good Times, and the other show is Sanford and Son. Good Times is about a poor black family that lives in the projects in Chicago, and they have three children. They live in a two-bedroom apartment in a high-rise Chicago project housing, and the husband makes little to no money. They believe that $2.50 an hour is great money to them. My brother used to get upset when I watched that show because he would say that, "Why you watch that? Why you watch that?" And I don't know if it was part of him being upset because we lost our home when we were younger and had to move into the project, and which was an embarrassing moment for us because we came from a nice house, and um, then we lost our home and had to move into a housing project. But to make a long story short, Good Times the stereotype for Good Times is that they're blacks and they're poor and uneducated, and but they're happy for the little things in life. We were poor, but we were uneducated. In fact, my mother was valedictorian of her class, and my father actually was a supervisor of, I guess, electrical engineering because he helped put together two stadiums in the state of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. Um, we all grew up and we were very educated, and we all were able to obtain jobs. So the commercials that were played during Good Times are commercials like Live Tobacco Free. Um, there were car commercials, automobile insurance commercials, um, and beer commercials. So the next show was Sanford and Son, and Sanford and Son was another black show where he was a junk man. The wife had passed away. He raised a son on his own, and the son took over the junk business, and he's supposed to help him. And they live in a very poor area. In fact, in a couple of the shows, they show their house is pretty much falling apart, and they have a truck that is raggedy, and the goal of the son is to go out and buy and purchase items to um, keep the business going. Um, their house looks poor, um, and they're just poverty stricken in the neighborhood that they're attempting to buy and sell goods. Commercials for that show was like Big Lots, Chili's, Domino's, um, just a lot of food commercials, also beer commercials. Uh, Good Times and Sanford and Son paint a pretty picture of Black people in poverty, with the exception of employment um, in poverty-stricken areas or poverty-stricken people. The minimum wage is no longer $2.50. So anyway, this uh, concludes the discussion on understanding and managing diversity, Module 7. Thank you for attending, and I hope I didn't bore you too much.